Hi everyone, I'm Matthew Moniz, and this is the MSI GE62 GQF Apache Pro. It's a 15-inch portable gaming laptop with the latest Skylake processor and a powerful GPU. It can handle most games at 1080p at high settings and any work you throw at it. This is the first MSI laptop that I've reviewed on the channel, and if you guys like it, I promise to review more of their products. So here's my review. The GE62 Apache Pro is made of all plastic. It's black and red and screams gamer all over it. On the front lid, you have the MSI logo that reminds me of a Ferrari, and on each side you have these indents that give the laptop some nice curves. One thing to note is that the lid is a fingerprint magnet, so make sure to keep some cleaning products nearby. The laptop weighs 5.29 pounds, so it's going to be slightly heavier than the Asus GL502. In terms of ports, on the left you have an Ethernet jack, two USB 3.0 ports, an HDMI port, mini display port, USB Type-C Gen 1 port, a headphone port, and a microphone jack. On the right, you have a DVD drive, a USB 2.0 port, a full-size SD card slot, and your power input. Now, opening it up was a little bit of a pain. There's 18 screws that need to be taken out, but once open, everything inside can be pretty much upgraded. In the top right, you have your M2 SATA SSD. It's made by Toshiba. It's a good drive. It averages read speeds of 550 megabytes a second and write speeds of 450. On the opposite side is the slower 1 terabyte hard drive. It averaged read speeds of 135 megabytes a second and write speeds of 130. In the middle is your RAM, which is swappable, and on the bottom is the battery. Two fans sit in the opposite corners on the bottom with heat pipes running across the middle. Now there's two models to choose from for the 15-inch version, one with an NVIDIA GTX 960M GPU, and another, which is the review unit that I have here, that sports a 970M. They both come with an Intel i7-6700HQ processor, a 15.6-inch non-touch Full HD display, one 128GB SSD, a 1TB 7200 RPM hard drive, and 16GB of DDR4 RAM. The laptop is capable of supporting up to 32GB, and MSI offers a 2-year warranty instead of the standard one. This unit retails for $1,300 US or $2,100 Canadian. The 15-inch IPS matte display is quite nice, it gets fairly bright, has great viewing angles, and minimal color shifting. The screen uses MSI's True Color technology, which means it's pre-calibrated with 100% sRGB profile. However, based on my testings, the sRGB sat around 85 to 90%. It's fantastic for gaming, but for professional image editing, I consider another laptop with a more accurate display. Needless to say, the colors look great, they're punchy, and gaming on this laptop has been a good experience. Above the display is a 1080p webcam. It's nothing special, it's a little noisy, but colors were decent, and most people will be fine with it for video conferencing. The keyboard is full size with a numeric keypad and made by SteelSeries, which is known for making great peripherals for gamers. It's full color with 3 levels of backlighting, and you can change the colors by using the included software. Now, if you really want, you can also make each section of the keyboard a different color. The actual keys have a rubber texture to it, which MSI calls anti-ghost keys. I personally like them. It allows me to feel more of the key when gaming. Keyboard flex is not too bad, and the travel distance of each key is fantastic. I'm not exactly sure the number, but it's above 1.5 millimeters, which is always good in my books. But what's not good is the actual touchpad. This has to be one of the worst touchpads I've used this year. It has a rough texture to it, which I find annoying, and cursor movement is inaccurate. The buttons below it are made out of plastic and feel cheap to use. Anyone buying this laptop will want to make sure they carry an external mouse at all times. The Apache Pro has 3 speakers, 2 on the bottom front, which face the body of the user, and 1 on the bottom that provides more of the low-end frequencies. The sound quality is quite good. It has nice highs and decent lows. The mids get slightly washed out at higher volumes, but overall the speakers do a good job. The speakers are made by Dyne Audio, and MSI has its dynamic software installed that enhances the sound. When turned on, the highs get amplified, which sound fuller. It has no problem filling up a medium-sized room. Consuming media and watching games will sound great on this laptop. What's also great is the performance. This is a gaming machine first, so handling productivity tasks and multimedia is an easy undertaking for the Apache Pro. With 16 gigabytes of RAM and a speedy processor, you can have multiple tabs open, play full HD video, work inside Microsoft Office or Google Docs without any hiccups. It can also handle more powerful programs like Adobe Premiere, Photoshop, and AutoCAD. Now, I obviously mostly use the Apache Pro to game, and it can handle most titles fine at 1080p with the settings set to high. high. I was averaging 70 frames per second in Overwatch with the settings set to Ultra. Bumping it up to Epic reduced the frames to about 60. Next, I tried Heroes of the Storm, an older title, but it can be graphically demanding, and it was averaging 50 frames per second with the resolution set to 1080p and the graphics set to extreme. This was during intense fights, but if you lower it to high, you'll stay about 60 frames per second. And finally, the last game I tested was Doom. This game is demanding, and at 1080p it struggled quite a bit, averaging frame rates of 35. I'd recommend dropping it down to 720p for a smoother experience. Now, one thing I noticed while gaming is how hot the deck gets. In fact, it gets so hot that at times my palms felt uncomfortable. I decided to do a heat test and the keyboard area was averaging temperatures of 45 degrees Celsius. The bottom of the laptop handled heat better since the vents are large and average 40 degrees Celsius. With all this heat, I was concerned about CPU temperatures and possible throttling. Now, the good news is that the CPU temperature stayed around 9 degrees Fahrenheit, which means the laptop is doing a good job of protecting the CPU from overheating. And finally, battery life. If you're just browsing the web and doing simple productivity tasks, you can get away with 4 to 5 hours of use before needing a charge. But if you're gaming or editing video, I was averaging 2.5 hours of use before having to plug in. Alright, so here are my closing thoughts. The MSI GE62 6QF Apache Pro is a good gaming laptop. Now, it's not as thin as the Asus GL502, but still portable enough to move around. The display is great for gaming, it has fantastic sound, there's lots of ports, it's easily upgradable, and comes preloaded with one SSD and a regular hard drive. Now, it does get hot when it's under full load, and the touchpad needs improvement. The competition would be the similar priced Asus GL502, but it has less ports, one less hard drive, and no DVD-ROM. But you are getting a thinner and lighter laptop. The Dell equivalent, on the other hand, is the Alienware 15, but it costs $2,000. For $1,300, the Apache Pro offers a lot of value for the money, and it includes a 2-year warranty. So I want to know what your thoughts of the Apache Pro are in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to smash that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. And as always, I will see you in the next video.